$10,000. You just hit 10 grand in the bank. And for the first time in a long time, you can breathe. This is not freedom. Let's be honest about that. This is oxygen. But you have to understand what oxygen means when you've been drowning. The flat tire doesn't end your month anymore. The surprise bill doesn't trigger a panic attack at 2 a.m. You can buy groceries without doing math in the aisle, putting things back, choosing between the thing you need and the thing you also need. For years, your whole life ran on one setting: emergency. Every day was a small fire. Every problem was the problem that finally takes you down. And now, the fire is out. Not forever, but right now. You're still close to the edge. One bad break and you're back. $10,000 doesn't make you safe. It makes you paused. The constant background panic finally goes quiet for a minute, and you forgot what quiet even felt like. That's real. That's worth everything to the person living it. But it's the floor, the very bottom of getting your life back. It's survival with a tiny cushion. $10,000 falls into the D tier. $100,000. Now you've got $100,000. And something deep in your nervous system finally clocks out for the day. You're not rich. Don't get it twisted. You're living a very normal life. Still working. Still budgeting. Still checking prices. But now there's a wall between you and disaster. And that wall changes everything. The car breaks down. Annoying, not catastrophic. You lose your job. You've got months, not days. You can take a small risk, switch careers, move cities, leave the thing that was quietly killing you, without your entire life caving in. This is the tier of dignity. You've stopped just reacting to whatever life throws at you, and you've started actually planning. You can think a year ahead instead of a week ahead. You can say, let me sleep on it, instead of, I have to take it. But here's the ceiling. Money is still the main character in your story. Every big decision still runs through one question. Can I afford this? The buffer protects you, but it doesn't free you. You're secure. You're stable. You're standing on solid ground for the first time. You're just not free yet. And you can feel exactly where the wall is. $100,000 lands in the C tier. $1 million. $1 million. The number you grew up thinking meant you'd made it. And this is where it gets good, because this is your first real taste of freedom. You have options now. Genuine ones. You can walk away from a job you hate without a backup plan. You can start the business. Take the year off. Move across the world. Say no to people you used to have to say yes to, just to keep the lights on. There's security here, and there's room to swing. You can take a real risk, bet on yourself, and survive it if it doesn't work. That combination, safety plus the ability to gamble, is something almost nobody below this line ever gets to feel. But here's the honest catch. $1 million is not never think about money again money. Not anymore. Not with the cost of everything today. You still watch it. You still plan around it. One bad decade, one bad investment, one expensive mistake, and it shrinks faster than you'd like. So you've tasted freedom, but you're still holding the menu. You're checking the prices on the right side. You're free-ish. And honestly, free-ish is a beautiful place to be. Most people never get here. It's just not the top, because the math still has a vote in your life. $1 million takes the B tier. $10 million. $10 million. And this is the sweet spot. The top of the entire ranking. Not the most money, the most happiness. And here's exactly why. At 10 million, you finally have everything money is actually for. Real freedom, real safety, privacy, choice. You never think about a bill again. Not the small ones, not the big ones. You work because you want to, not because a deadline is breathing on your neck. The money question, the one that ran your entire life from the bottom of this list. It's just gone. But here's the magic. Pay attention, because this is the whole secret of the video. You are not famous. You're not a public figure. Nobody writes articles about you. Strangers don't recognize you on the street. You don't walk into rooms where people are quietly doing math on your net worth. You haven't become a thing. You're still a person. You're rich enough to vanish completely into your own life. And not so rich that your life turns into a circus you can't switch off. You can still trust the people around you, because there's no fortune big enough to make everyone treat you like a target. You can still have real friends. You can still say no and have it mean nothing more than no. And when you do want the perks, they're there on your terms. You can occasionally get a kick out of dropping a hint or two, letting someone catch a glimpse and watching them be genuinely surprised to find out. You get the quiet joy of picking up the check, helping out a friend, giving back to people who'd never expect it, without it becoming your whole identity. You control the dial. You decide when you're the rich one and when you're just a guy at the table. Maximum freedom, minimum chaos. Your life is huge on the inside and invisible on the outside. That is the dream. And almost everybody aims way past it and overshoots it completely. $10 million. That's your S tier. $100 million. $100 million. And here is the curveball nobody sees coming. On paper, this should be untouchable, generational, the dream of the dream. In reality, it might be the most psychologically cursed spot on this entire list. Here's the trap. To normal people, you are insanely rich, obscenely rich, but you don't spend time with normal people anymore. You're in new rooms now, and in those rooms are people worth 500 million, a billion, 10 billion, and just like that, you feel poor again. You climbed the entire mountain, the whole thing, bottom to top, and someone walked you to the base of a mountain 10 times taller and said, off you go. The comparison game you thought you'd finally escaped? It just got a brand new high score you'll never beat. And it gets worse. At this level, everyone wants something. Your money, your access, your name next to theirs, a piece of you. You stop being able to tell who's a real friend and who's running a slow, patient angle. So look at where you're stuck. You're too rich to be normal. You lost the anonymity, the privacy, the easy trust you had back at 10 million. But you're not rich enough to be untouchable. You don't have the real fortress yet. You're caught in the worst possible middle, visible, envied, surrounded, hunted, and quietly comparing yourself to people you will never catch. You have $100 million, and you feel like you're losing. $100 million drops all the way down to the F tier. $1 billion. $1 billion. Welcome to Fortress Mode. And here's the difference between this and 100 million, because it's the whole point. At 100 million, you were competing. At a billion, you stop competing and start gatekeeping. You can block access entirely. Higher security. Control your environment down to the room. By distance from almost any problem on Earth. You decide who gets near you, what touches your life, and what simply never reaches you. That comparison game that was destroying the guy one tier down, you can just opt out of it. Close the gate. Let the noise stay outside. So why isn't this the top? Why isn't the richest person the happiest one? Because at $1 billion, you are not just a person anymore. You're an institution. Your decisions move companies. Your name is in the press whether you like it or not. Thousands of people depend on the choices you make on a Tuesday afternoon. There's a legacy now, a family fortune, a public image that follows your kids. You bought total control over the outside world, and the price was the ability to ever just be a regular guy again. You are safe. You are powerful. You are free in every single way that money can actually buy. But your life is now bigger than you are. You don't fully own it. It owns a piece of you right back. That's why it's strong. That's why it's high on the list. But it is not the sweet spot. You traded being a person for being a fortress. $1 billion settles into the A tier.